Oh, I'm coming out the snake pit for this. King Jareer in your ear. I'm so fit I don't fit in. And this is a chaos edition, not a cave edition. Now this may ruffle some feathers and shake up some caves. Let's get right into it. What the term Ethiopia meant. A vague description. The Greek word, whatever the hell that says, was a greater term for dark-skinned people that ancient geographers applied to various populations they encountered. Geographic range. The term Ethiopia was used broadly to describe regions in Africa such as Nubian and also areas of Asia. And this is King Jareer in your ear. Two Ethiopias, you say? In ancient times, it was sometimes conceptualized as having two parts: Western Ethiopia for the peoples of Africa, and Eastern Ethiopia for the peoples of India and Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula. Holy moly. And here you have that E1B1B, that's the dad haplogroup. And you see this same E1B1B is specific to everything in every desert and outside over there in Europe, as well as the deserts of Saudi Arabia. Also, E1B1B haplogroup is shared with Caucasians. Albert Einstein, famous name. Nicolas Cage, famous name. Nicolas Cage is alive today, a living, breathing Caucasian. E1B1B. Yeah. So that means you share with outside of Africa instead of inside of Africa. The word diversity means different. Let's run the gauntlet. When we go back to the old maps, I can show you as well as I can show you more. The Malignocroid, that means dark skin Caucasoid. The area that's another Caucasian branch, as well as the Khoisan, is a milk drinking, desert dwelling, rich cave histories. All these are rich cave histories: Malignocroid, Aryan, and Khoisan. In the middle, there's the Negro, that's dealing with the jungle. President Obama signed legislation pertaining to the use of dated terminology Negro and Oriental in federal law, but he didn't make the words illegal. It's changing around the terminologies. The federal government will no longer use the term Negroes and Oriental. The official terms will be African American and Asian American. So we just shown that if we on the Negro situation, there was a parts of Africa where they designated as Negro, and all those parts are rainforests. The most precipitation. Let's run the gauntlet. So everybody want the sources. Here you go. Where does it say that? How do you know that? You're making this up. There you go. So this for educational purposes, we might have to kind of like block this out a little bit. But you see that's the rainforest. That's water. Negro situation, water. You see the subtropical situation. You see the African American situation. Remember, the African American is Negro. So the Negro situation over here, that's subtropical. The Negro situation over here, that's tropical. The 1890s Brussels Conference, hosted by King Leopold II of Belgium, aimed to suppress the African slave trade and to lead the Brussels Conference Act of 1890. The treaty banned the import and sale of arms and liquor to certain regions of Africa and established measures to combat the Negro slave trade. Remember, we already showed you what the Negro situation was. So remember, when they said they wasn't conquered, when they say Ethiopia and Somalia wasn't colonized, they're not Negroes. They only colonized Negroes. They was already Greek and dark-skinned Greeks and dark-skinned Persians and Caucasians. Malignocroid is dark-skinned Caucasians. Let's run it down. Oh, also, while framed as a humanitarian effort, the act also served the interests of European colonial powers. But here's this is what the thing. This is why we all humans today. This made us human when they freed us from chains, Christianized us, or Islamicized us. You see what I'm saying? They stripped us of our languages and cultures and gave us Afro-Asiatic or some Indo-European language Christianity and Islam. Some Abrahamic culture, some Abrahamic religion in an Afro-Asiatic or Indo-European language. That's colonization. They force you to go to these schools. You're already raised up in the government. That's theirs. That's theirs. The schools, that's theirs. Liquor stores, mosques, and churches, and other religious instruments, enslavement instruments around us. Let's run the gauntlet. Both of them originally fell under Liatria. It wasn't no geography situation. But let's get into it. This word is now rare to the point of complete disuse. We're going to bring it back to life. It comes from the Greek Leo, smooth, trios, hair, smooth hair, hence having straight hair. See, remember, they was added, so the whole time, the Mongoloid existed before the European. That it exists due to the yada, 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 beginning of the 19th century. Look, he was studying plants. Remember, y'all was trying to connect head of plants and shit. So the dude that came up with these names was studying plants. He was a plant specialist. He also made a stab at classifying peoples into races. He is now hardly remembered, but in a once influential book, Homo, whatever the hell that says, whatever, published in Paris, 1827, he attempted to classify humans with straight hair and wavy hair. Because remember, Taimatria means wavy. So remember, they was just Eurasian before they became Asian and European. So they was Eurasian, and they was all called Liatria. It says straight and wavy into the Liatria. And look, with the woolly or turf hair into the Eulatria. See, we Eulatrias. They're Liatrias. But watch this. Then they came with the Cymatria. He said his classification was seriously studied for several decades, being quoted, for example, by Thomas Henry Huxley and Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, he the one that brought you evolution by seeing a bird's beak. So remember, one dude studied plants, the other dude seen a bird's beak, and Darwin, he got a bird named after him, Darwin bird. So you gotta understand that. The adjective Eulatrius, Greek eulos, woolly, from his other main category is also rare, but the related Lastrasius, smooth hair. See, y'all, the smooth hairs, E1 through 3s, is still a vocabulary of some specialists, especially zoologists. Look, the zoo game. This comes from Greek. You already seen that, which means smooth. A third category, this one they start making up. They split the straight and wavy and left it wavy and curly. So straight by itself is Liatria. Cymatria is type 2, type 3. Gilix now. So look, the dark-skinned Caucasians with melanin. A third category is that of wavy hair, because remember the wave game was concluded with the straight. Wavy hair or Cymatrius. The last three adjectives have been used to classify types of hair. Look, forensic identification. Forensic identification. They can tell your race by your hair. You can know whose hair, who's what, looking at the hair. Let's run it on. If you look at them Asiatics, the Afro-Asiatics faces and the Tutsis Fulani faces, they will have this skinny obtuse. This is called the obtuse angle. A view of human population variations from the 1950s. All humans belong to one of the 5 races produced above. Just look at the skull shape and you can tell what you are. And the head texture, and you've got the brow. They have something called an obtuse angle. When they got the slanted stern jaw. The stern jaw game. That's what comes with a Caucasoid skull type. It comes with a Caucasoid skull type. They wouldn't have an oval shape. So remember, when you look at a Congoid skull, it's the circular situation. It's more rounded. Even the Nilotic has a Congoid skull, so to understand why I'm putting the Congoid skulls next to Congoid skulls, so technically a Nilotic, it wouldn't be a Nilotic, it's a Congoid. So that's how you know something's fishy going on. But you see the obtuse skinny jaw structure. We don't have the skinny jaw structure. We don't have the skinny jaw structure. Only a Caucasoid skull has that obtuse angle. And remember this for educational purposes. This may ruffle some feathers and shake up some caves. And this is King Jarir. in your ear. I'm so fit out.